Good morning, gorgeous. Today I'm gonna take you around for a super quick tour of the west side of the house to show you how the plants are doing, to show you what things are happening. This area right here, this is the corner where I used to have my burning bushes and my golden privet. I love how everything look in this corner. However, those burning bushes were invasive and I had to remove them. It was time. It was definitely due. And because the privets, the golden privets, they were fine. They were not invasive, but they were going to be super weird just standing there with a huge hole. So what I did is that I removed these boxwoods. If you remember, this area right here was my line of boxwoods, and they are now all the way in that corner. The idea is they're going to make a nice hedge on the property line there. We'll see how they do. They seem to be doing okay. I lost a couple during the move. I lost a couple of them, and it was fine because I just replaced them with a couple more that I found locally. They were slightly smaller, the ones that I found. Those were the biggest that I could find, believe it or not. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. My little lady, I don't know where she's gonna go. I have to find a spot, but I still don't know where she's gonna go. My beautiful hydrangeas, my hydrangea hedge that I have there is just doing amazing. We did get lots of rain a few days ago, like really strong rain, that kind of rain that just lasts for hours it seems. And these were they were flat a little bit, not too much. You cannot really even tell, but I can tell because I can tell the ones that are very upright and the ones that are kind of leaning towards the side. But I love them. I am not worried. People normally ask me what I do if my hydrangeas get droopy. The biggest thing that I can tell you is that the more water that you give them, the heavier and the stronger the blooms are going to get. Hence, they're going to get a lot bigger. So just keep an eye on your watering and you should be fine. I have been working on this area for a little bit now, for the last couple of days, just weeding, cleaning. I do have a random boxwood there that's not supposed to be there, but I probably put it there because I don't have anywhere else to put it. As I said, I am redoing things and I have breaks kind of everywhere. My beautiful heucheras that are underneath those hydrangeas, they are doing so well. I have plans for this area right here where I have my my heucheras there. I am going to be adding another hedge of boxwoods right there where kind of like the line starts, and this area is just going to be looking quite different. Hopefully this fall, hopefully I can find the type of boxwoods in the quantity that I need them. The two types that I use here in my garden are winter gems and winter greens. Those are the only two types that I use. And it seems that this year those varieties are hard to find. I don't know why, but that seems to be the struggle for me this year. This right here is my no-dig flower bed. It's beautiful, really beautiful. At the very front here, I have some cosmos that I started from seed. I did have to help them up a little bit because they were growing a little too tall for the space, and they were kind of crashing onto the boxwoods here on the side. I am going to try to add names for all of the plants that I have listed here, so just check those names below. I do have a very lonely bird bath there, kind of stuck there in the middle. It needs cleaning, of course. But now that I am looking at it, now I do have some bricks that are elevating that bird bath there. Now that I'm looking at this space, I think that my lady will look just perfect there. I'm gonna have to try and see it and see how she looks there. She's heavy, so I definitely need somebody else to help me lift it and put it there. We'll see. I'll give you an update on that. But the rest of this bed is pretty much dahlias. I didn't plant anything else here. I had plans for this bed, and it took me a while to decide what I wanted to grow here. And by the time that I decided that I was not going to have the time to redo or to make my ideas happen here this year, it was a little bit late. I had a bunch of dahlias that are laying around, so they just kind of went here. And I have not been doing much to this bed. That's why everything looks kind of trashy. If you know what I mean. I mean, my dahlias are just kind of laying flat. I have lots of weeds happening here. Yeah, just lots of work here that I'm not willing to do at this moment, because we woke up to 52 degrees this morning, and it's starting. The mornings are starting to get cold. It's that time of the year where things are just kind of going down, starting to die for the winter, for the cool months. So that's pretty much what's happening here. But the dahlias that I have blooming here, oh, they're just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. This is the obelisk that my husband built me a few years ago. It's lovely, it's strong, and it's now a home for some birds. So yeah, my garden is not only a beautiful thing to look at, but it's also home for wildlife. If we keep on walking, I do have these two Corten steel planters. The Corten steel planters are from DIY Cartel. You guys, if you're looking for Corten steel planters, I know that they're an investment, but definitely look at DIY Cartel items because they're amazing. I have had them in my garden for 4 years now, and I am very, very happy with the quality, with the way they're built. They're heavy, but that's what you want when you have something that is going to last you for years. In those two planters that I have there, which are 26-inch square planters, I have zinnias growing. And as you can tell, they are already getting sick, but that is expected. Those zinnias are the orange Queenie lime, I think that's what they're called now. And apparently I do have some random pink ones here. I do want to come out here and just grab a bunch of those blooms and just get them indoors, because I know they're going to be gone here soon, very, very soon. I also have some geraniums that I started from seed, and I'm gonna see if I have a clip of how these containers look like when I first planted them. I direct sow all of those zinnias. I did not start them indoors. I just threw a bunch of the seeds there, and I hope for the best. This right here is a random celosia plant that is a volunteer. Isn't she gorgeous? And right here on the other side I have more dahlias. If I remember correctly, these zinnias right here are all the zinnias that I started from seed last year. And look at that. Last year I started these zinnias from seed, and I love this variety. When you start dahlias from seed, you don't know what type of flower, what type of color or shape you're going to get. So it's always a fun surprise when you do see the blooms of those. But last year I loved these so much that I saved the tubers, and they came back just as they were last year. And sometimes from what I heard, that's not the case. If you save those tubers from the first year, because they do produce tubers the first year, if you save those, you may not get the same thing, apparently. But this year, these are beautiful, just like last year. And I am going to keep saving these because I really, really do love them. And just like the zinnias, look at all of that. It's a time of the year, unfortunately. So this is my no-dig flower bed. Things are blooming. I am definitely going to be keeping an eye on those dahlias that I want to save. most of these dahlias are going to be safe, and I'll see if I can save seeds from those zinnias because they're beautiful. If we keep on moving this way, I want to show you these two boxwoods that I have right here on the left and on the right. These were a rescue a few years ago. I was at my doctor's office. I went for an appointment, and outside there were some landscapers digging these out. And of course I asked, what are you guys doing? What are you guys, planting here instead of these boxwoods? And they told me what they were going to do. Not that I care that much, but they said that these boxwoods were going to go into the dumpsters. And I couldn't let that happen. So I got all three of these. I have one in the front, but I have all three of these boxwoods just looking amazing. Could do a better job of taking care of them as far as fertilizer and pruning, but they don't mind it. I mean, they're just beautiful here. And when I got these boxwoods, they were huge, you guys. If I was trying to find boxwoods in this size, these are probably like a green velvet variety. They will probably be in the hundreds of dollars. So keep an eye on those. If you see landscapers in your area, you might be asking them what they're going to do with the plants that they're digging up. So as we go through here, I have some random things here. I have a couple of hostas right there. Those are the only shade plants that I have in my garden. Those two hostas there, they were actually divisions from hostas from another side of my garden that are already gone. But they are divisions and they love it there. They probably could be divided by now because they're definitely taken over. They kind of cascade here on this side, and I just love that. I do have some weeds and I have some sedum that is just kind of cascading over those rocks. I have my Wi-Fi irrigation there that pretty much covers the whole west side of the house, and things are looking pretty good. If we take a quick glance at this raised retainer wall that we made a few years ago, you can see some of my plants that are crawling there. This is a creeping Jenny that I planted last year. She definitely likes to spread, and I have been keeping an eye on them because I definitely don't want them to take over. But for right now, I like them. I really do like how they look like here. And I also have this sedum here, which I can't remember the name at this second, but my goodness, they had been in this container for the last 4 years. They come back every year, and all I do is I give them a little bit of fertilizer whenever in the spring I see them popping up. And I cannot even imagine the amount of fruits that that container has. I have 3 plants there. They were tiny when I put them there, and they are getting ready to open. They're beautiful. They're just beautiful. I put them here because my idea was to get them out of that container and put them in this bed. But I don't mind the look of that container there next to everything. But if I'm being honest, the things that I'm most excited about this year from this bed are these perennial mums. I have a total of 4 of these perennial mums here in this bed. Actually, I have 5. I have one at the very end back there behind the firelight hydrangea. And last fall, I found these at my local nursery, and they were already blooming. They had already blooming for a bed. These are a beautiful burgundy red color. Hopefully I get to show you how they're blooming in another video. But I was a little worried last year because it was very late and these plants were already kind of past their blooming point, and I wasn't sure if they were going to take again. But this spring, when I saw them popping up, I was very excited. And last year the plants were tiny, you guys. I think that I found them in quart size, and look at how big they are getting. These guys are huge, And I know that I can take divisions in the spring if I want to spread them in other places. So I am very excited about that. This is one of the tags that I saved from them. This is a mammoth red mom. And gosh, I hope that they get huge. I just hope so. Along this side of the cattle panel that I have here, if you remember years ago, I tried growing honeysuckles here. We had a really hard winter a couple of winters ago, and all of the honeysuckles that were here were taken by that cold snap that we had. So this spring I planted a bunch of Bathsheba roses. These Bathshebas are David Austin roses. My goodness, they look amazing. They're taking a little bit of time here, probably because the sunshine doesn't actually reaches here until later in the day. But I'm very happy with them. The whole idea here is that these roses are going to make a natural wall covering this cattle panel, but we'll see how all of that goes. And I have been trying to help the branches of the roses just kind of attach themselves to the cattle panel. Obviously I have to hook them myself, but they're looking really well. So I have perennial moms, David Austin roses. I have some lavender here that I started from seed last year. These are one of the few plants that I started from seed last year, if you can remember. They're looking amazing, you guys. I love how easy lavender was for me. It took a little bit of time to get it to germinate and a few tricks here and there, but my goodness, it's lovely. And it looks so healthy as well. I have a random Verbena bonariensis volunteer here, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. But this bed, it seems a little bit empty for me as far as plants go and colors. But here in a few weeks, hopefully, all of these moms are going to just be popping. And hopefully, I can show you in a video, like I said. If we keep going towards the back, we're still on the west side of the house. That's why we're in the shade this early in the morning. I have this area where I redid with a bunch of Monrovia plants, and it's definitely still in the progress of being redone. Let me start over here on the left. Those are firelight hydrangeas. They don't get too big, I found. They definitely don't get as big as my lilac hydrangeas. But my goodness, they are beautiful. They start really quickly to put on that red color, and I really love that. If this hydrangea got a little bit more sun than it does now, maybe it will be a little bit bigger. But this shrub that I have here is probably 3 by 3, and I do trim it very gently. But it's beautiful, just the size that it is. It's just beautiful. I do have a family of birds there in that beautiful birdhouse that I have my husband help me install. I'll try to see if I can put a clip here of the type of birds that I got, but they're loving it here. And I love how this whole plum shrub looks like there. Some of you have asked me what type of plum that is because it's nice and skinny. This is what pruning does, you guys. That is supposed to be a round plum shrub, and you probably have seen them everywhere in round form, but I do make it a point to keep it nice and flat so it creates a sort of wall. And the branches that I do have right there next to the cattle panel, those branches I kind of intermingle in between the cattle panels, so they're kind of there for the whole time. They're not just flying around. So from the side, they look a little bit flat. It looks like a flat wall of dark color. This is a beautiful view of my little break path area where I have lots of colors at this moment. I have roses, I have cornflowers, I have some sedum, millennium garlic, and those two planters. Those two planters are full with plants. They definitely did way better than I imagined that they were going to do this year. I have caught so many dahlias from those two containers, and for next year, I'll take note that dahlias love it here. I have been trying to make this video for a whole month by now, but there's always something. I always want to try to make it decent and presentable before I make a video, and my goodness, the weeds do not allow me. So excuse all of the weeds and just concentrate on what really matters here, which are the nice plants. I installed this wall of boxwoods a few months ago. I made a video on that, and my dog found them already. I am really tempted to spray them with something that my dog is not going to like, and hopefully he'll leave them alone, but very frustrating, very frustrating. But other than that, those boxwoods are really liking it there. The brick path here, I had to undo in one section at the very front. If you see all of those cables there, I do have to clean that up. We had to redo a invisible fence that we have for our dog, and we had to dig around, we had to redo a few things. And when I say we, I mean my husband. And I asked him not to put the bricks back again because I do want to redo this area. It's a little bit wonky, and I do have a bunch of bricks in a lot of places that I do need to bring over here. I may be extending the path a little bit towards the back. I still haven't decided, but again, this side of the house is still in construction as far as this path goes, and I'm okay with that. Over here I have a geranium rosin. It's beautiful purple bloom plant that likes to take over. I have probably pruned this plant 2 or 3 times this year already. Doesn't look like it. Every time that I prune it, it comes back stronger. I do have some sedum right there that it's going to be ready to bloom here in a couple of weeks or so. I have some cornflowers that have already done blooming, and I do have a bunch of millennium garlic. Those are the little balls that you see all over the place by now. And this year, for the first time, my hardy hibiscus, they were amazing, you guys. They started blooming really early for me this year, probably because of the warm and wet spring that we had here in central Indiana. But because of that, they were also done blooming early. I don't see any blooms on them right now. Normally this time of year is when those things are at their best. But this year, at the beginning of August, they were done. They were done blooming. And I do have 2 of those hardy hibiscus here. One is a red variety, and I have another one that is a pink variety. And like I said, they were done blooming at the beginning of August. So over here I have a huge container there that I have full of dahlias, celosia, geraniums, petunias, and my goodness, it's a splendor just to look at it. I filled this container with a few of those plants that I started from seed. Everything from here, well, other than the dahlias, I started the tubers early indoors. But everything else, I started from seed, and everything did so well. This could definitely be a repeat for every plant that I have here for next year. And the same thing on the other container right next to it. I have dahlias, I have coleus, celosia. I have been trying to secure all of those tall plants like the dahlias and the celosia. But my goodness, they're huge. I think the combination of nice potting mix, good fertilizer, plenty of sun, plenty of heat, just help the plants do great here. So this side of the path, it has a combination of sedum, cornflowers. Can't remember those red plants that I have there. Those are perennials. I'm gonna try to look for the name, but they have been blooming for the longest time. The roses that I have there are just beautiful, beautiful. I do have these roses in containers, very small containers, but I do have them on irrigation. So I think that that really does the trick for the roses here. Plenty of sun, plenty of water. And one of the questions that I got from my last video that I posted when I planted these roses is, what am I going to do with these roses for the winter? Am I going to leave them here in the containers? Am I going to keep them indoors? The answer right now is that these roses are going to go in the ground in another spot. I am redoing another spot in my garden with Corten steel planters as well. The ones in the no-dig flower bed are going to be going to the east side, and I'm hoping that these roses maybe are kind of framing the bottom of those. We'll see. That's the plan as of right now. But if that doesn't happen, I am going to be taking these roses in these containers inside my unheated garage, and fingers crossed that they make it for next year. Other than having them on irrigation, I have not given them any fertilizer, and the roses are beautiful, you guys, just beautiful. I also have the two Annabelle hydrangea divisions that I moved here in the spring, and they are loving it here. I am so happy that these hydrangeas took. I do have the other division right back there in the corner, and they're doing amazing here, just beautiful. Other than weeding this brick path here during the summer a couple of times, I really haven't had to do much to this flower bed. I do plant my perennials and my shrubs very close together, so they act as a barrier for the weeds, for the sunshine to reach the soil here, and that helps with having, you know, a lot of weeds in between flowers. So this is it for this video. I hope that you, I don't know, pick up a couple of things or two. I do have a lot of things to do. I do have a lot of weeding. I have to work on that break path, and I probably should be cleaning some cut flowers and pruning a lot. It's that time of the year. Things are happening. Things are going to start to go to sleep. I woke up to a very, very cold morning here in the middle of August. So it's starting, you guys. I am hoping that in the next couple of days I can give you a tour of the back of the house, past those two huge containers that I have back there. The sun is starting to show back there. It's not going to be a pleasant video if I try to make it now. So keep an eye for that video coming up soon. And I hope that you have a great day in your garden. I'll see you on the next one.